Alright, happy Monday. Oh, did it take you a long time to wake up? Charlotte's moving and grooving right now. I'm not sure where she thinks she's going. Stay right there. So on this Monday, it is Bridger Day, and I have on my State Street Bridger sweatshirt. Charlotte's going to go down the side of the chair. Hopefully not. We're going to start chapter 9 because maybe that'll get her to hop on up here. Maybe not. We'll get her up here. Maybe she's just going to hang from right there. That's her new spot. Why not, right, Char? Chapter 9 is called Dizzy from Izzy. I hung out at the beach almost all day on Friday, hoping to catch a glimpse of Big April. I guess Mrs. A finally noticed because she came out of the porch and said, "If you're looking for Fudge, he's down at the tide pool with Mitzi and Sheila." "I'm not looking for him," I explained. I wanted to ask Big a question about the game, and as soon as I said Big, I wondered if I should have called him Mr. April instead. But Mrs. A acted as if it was okay. She said, "Big's on a fishing trip. He'll be back in a few days." "A few days? What about the game on Sunday?" I asked. "Oh, there's no game this Sunday," Mrs. A said. "It's the annual antique show they set up on the high school field." "Antique show?" "Yes," Mrs. A said, "and Big gets so upset about the game being canceled that he has to leave town. But don't worry, he'll be back before next Sunday. Big never misses a ball game." I guess Mrs. A could tell how disappointed I was because she said, "I just baked chocolate chip cookies." "No, thank you," I said. "I'm not very hungry." I ran home and announced the bad news. "No ball game this Sunday because of dumb antique show." "I read about that in the local paper," Mom said. "I think we should go." "Forget it," I told her. "You're not getting me anywhere near those stupid antiques." It's good there's no game," Fudge said, "because I still don't have my Mitzi." And he looked at Dad. He's been begging for a Mitzi ever since Mitzi showed him hers. Mitzi, he's talking about his baseball glove. "Tomorrow afternoon," Dad told him. "Promise?" Fudge asked. "Promise," Dad said. When Mitzi came over the next morning, Fudge said, "I'm getting my Mitzi this afternoon." "That's nice," Mitzi said, but she was more interested in the book she was carrying than in Fudge's baseball glove. "Did you know I can read?" she asked. "So can I," Fudge said. Mitzi held up her book and pointed to the title. Mitzi held up her book and pointed to the title. "What does this say?" "I can't read everything," Fudge said. "I can read Hop on Pop and dinosaur books." I don't know if he can really read Hop on Pop or if he's memorized it, but it's true he knows all the words. "The name of this book is called Tell Me a Mitzi," she said, smiling. "Is it, Pete?" Fudge asked. "That's what it says," I told him. Fudge looked surprised. Mitzi opened the book, and it's all about me and my baby brother Jacob. "You don't have a baby brother," Fudge said. "I do so, and his name is Jacob." "Where is he?" "In Boston with Mommy and Daddy. He's not old enough to visit Grandma and Big by himself. He can't even talk, and he makes poop in his diaper." "So does Tootsie," Fudge said. "I hold my nose when Jacob gets changed," Mitzi said. "I hold my nose when Tootsie gets changed," Fudge said. One time, Jacob got into his diaper and played with his poop. "Ooh," Mitzi said. "Oh, it was so bad." "This conversation is getting pretty bad," I told them. They looked at each other and laughed. "Let me see that book," Fudge said. Mitzi handed it to him and flipped through the pages. "How come it's about you?" "Because I'm special," Mitzi said. That afternoon, I went to town with Dad and Fudge. The sports store had only one baseball glove small enough to fit him, but he didn't mind. "Now I have my own Mitzi," he told the clerk. "Yes," the clerk said, "I guess you do. And if you put a few drops of oil on it every day, you'll make it nice and soft." "A few drops of oil?" Fudge repeated as we left the store. He was wearing his glove and kept punching his fist into it the way that Mitzi had hers. When Dad told us he had to stop off at Sawyer's Market, Fudge asked if we could go to the library. "Sure," Dad said. "Put my phone down, Cannon. Or I'll take yours."
Why are you all freaking out?
"Sure," Dad said. The library is next door to Sawyer's. From the outside, it looks like a little house. There are pots and flowers on the steps and even a screen door, but inside, it's like a regular library. I left Fudge in the children's room and headed for the sports section. There were a lot of books about baseball. I was browsing through one that looked interesting when Fudge tugged at my shirt. "I can't find it," he said. "Find what?" "The book I want." I figured he was looking for something like Your Favorite Brontosaurus or The Last Tyrannosaurus Rex. So I said, "Go ask the librarian." "You come too." "I'm busy." "Please, Pete, this is important." "Oh, all right." I walked him to the checkout desk, and the regular librarian wasn't there. Instead, there was a girl, maybe 16 or 17. She wore a pin on her shirt that said library assistant. She was reading a book. It must have been really good because she didn't even notice we were standing in front of her until Fudge spoke. "Do you have Tell Me a Fudge?" he asked. I almost fell to the floor. "Pardon?" the girl said, looking up at us. Her eyes were a deep, dark brown, like the best chocolate. "Tell Me a Fudge," he repeated. "That's the book I want." "It doesn't sound familiar," she said. "It could be under Tell Me a Farley," Fudge said. I coughed twice, but she didn't even glance my way. "Did you look it up in the card catalog?" she asked Fudge. "No," Fudge said. "Well, let's give it a try. Our computer's down today." She marked her place in her book she was reading. When she closed it, I tried to read the title upside down. I think it was called Beginner's Love, but I'm not sure. Fudge followed her to the card catalog, and I followed Fudge. "What's your name?" he asked. "Isabel," she said, "but my friends call me Izzy." "Izzy," he said. "I like that." "What's yours?" she asked him. "Farley," he said, "but my friends call me Fudge." "Oh," Isabel said, "what an interesting name." She thumbed through the cards in the tea drawer. We have Tell Me a Mitzi, Tell Me a Trudy, but I don't see Tell Me a Fudge or Tell Me a Farley. "It has to be here," Fudge said. Isabel went through the cards again. "Nope, I'm sorry." Fudge scrunched up his face and his breath came fast. Oh no, I thought. He wouldn't. Not here. Not now. But I was wrong. "It's not fair," he cried, throwing himself on the floor. Then he kicked and he banged his fists and he screamed, "It's not fair!" Isabel looked at me. I wanted to disappear. Lucky for us, there were only a few other people in the library. One woman came over to see what was happening, but she wasn't impressed. She shook her head and went back to the stacks where she'd been browsing. A man stuck out his head out of the reading room and called, "Quiet, please. This is a library." But Fudge kept on kicking and screaming and banging his fist. "Stop!" I hissed. "You're making a scene." "I can't help it," he cried. "You're too old for this." "I'm not too old. I'm only 5. I would have walked out and left him there except for Isabel. She kneeled beside him. "Fudge," she said very softly. Fudge looked at her. His face was blotchy and red, and his nose was all runny. "Who knows more about a Fudge or a Farley than you?" "Nobody." "Exactly," she said. "Maybe you should write the book yourself." "I can't write," Fudge said. "My fingers hurt from printing my name." "Maybe you can tell the story to someone else, like your brother, and he'll write them down for you." Isabel smiled at me as if we were sharing some secret. I think I smiled back, but I'm not sure. I felt like I was in a dream and everything was happening in slow motion. Fudge sat up. "I'll think about it," he said. Isabel handed him a tissue from her pocket, but he doesn't know how to blow his nose, so he just wiped the whole mess across his face. Then he stood, shook Isabel's hand, and walked back to the checkout desk with her. "That's a nice-looking baseball glove," she told him. "I call it my Mitzi," Fudge said, "and I'm going to oil it every day to keep it nice and soft." I wondered if Isabel oiled her skin. I wondered if it felt as soft as it looked. My mind drifted off. I pictured myself on a desert island with Isabel. "It doesn't matter that I'm years older than you, Peter," she was saying, "because you're so mature for your age." Fudge tugged at my hand. "Pete." "What?" "I'll go tell Dad we're done, okay?" I nodded, and as soon as Fudge was gone, Isabel said, "Do you want to check that out?" When I didn't answer, she reached for the book I was holding. "Do you have your card?" she asked. "My card?" "Yes, your library card?" "No, I forgot it." "That's okay. I can hold the book until you come back next Saturday." "Next Saturday?" I said. I don't know how I got out of there. My legs were shaking so bad. I was feeling kind of weak all over and dizzy, too. Fudge came out of Sawyer's Market just as I came out of the library. "Dad says he's next in line. He'll meet us back at the car." He stopped for a minute and looked at me. "What's wrong, Pete?" "Nothing." "Why?" "You look weird. Are you going to puke?" "No, I'm just a little dizzy." "Put your head down," he said. "That's what Mom always tells me when I'm dizzy." I'm not that kind of dizzy, I said. Oh, it's more like I'm floating. And I started to sing. Who can explain it? Who can tell you why? That night when I got into bed, I stared into my Kreskin's crystal and I repeated Isabel's name over and over. I didn't care that her friends called her Izzy. To me, she'd always be Isabel. A beautiful name. A name that really fits her. If I were the amazing Kreskin, I'd be able to plan all my dreams. I'd probably be able to transfer my thoughts from my head to Isabel's and make her dream about me. I closed my eyes and concentrated. Isabel. Isabel. But then Fudge came racing into my room. He took a flying leap and landed on my bed. I hid my Kreskin's crystal under my pillow where he couldn't get his hands on it. I'm ready to start my book, he announced. I'll say it. You write it down. Why don't you wait until tomorrow? Then your babysitter can write down for you. I can't wait, Pete. Why not? Who can explain it? Who can tell you why? He laughed as he handed me a paper and a pencil. There was no way he was going to give up. The sooner I started writing, the sooner I'd be able to go back to Isabel. So I took the pencil and said, okay, let's go. Tell Me a Fudge, he said, by Farley Drexel Hatcher. Chapter 1, How Turtle Got His Name. He waited while I wrote all that down, and then he yawned. That's it for tonight, Pete. Tomorrow I'll write Chapter 2. I can hardly wait, I told him. He got into his own bed, and 2 seconds later he was out cold. I took my Kreskin's crystal from under my pillow and held it tightly. Isabel, Isabel, tell me an Isabel. I had a dream that night, but it wasn't about Isabel. It was about Sheila Tubman. Ugh, I woke up feeling really disappointed. That's the end of Chapter 9. I'll see you tomorrow for Chapter 10. Bye. And Charlotte likes her new spot. Who knows?